Welcome to the Community Difference Wylie, powered by the Difference Media LLC, and hosted by Scott Johnson with FireBoss Realty, and also sponsored by Janice Greenly with Greenroot Capital,
and by Harvey Loosier with Twilight Cleaning Services.
The Community Difference Wylie was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Wylie starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the Community Difference Wylie, a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. I'm your host, Scott Johnson with FireBoss Realty, where life is relationships and everything else is details. I'm excited to introduce you to some of the business owners that make Wylie, Sachse, and Murphy areas awesome places to live. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on in the area, and we'll discuss business development topics that help all of us build better businesses and provide better services to the people and in the community that we serve. For December, we're talking about transforming the sales cycle, leveraging social platforms to establish the know, like, and trust factors of building rapport. To help me introduce the topic, I'd like to bring in my co-host. First, let's greet Janice Greenly. Janice is the mastermind behind Greenroot Capital. She's in the business of helping you stack cash and storage units by investing in high-demand multifamily properties and innovative storage solutions. So how are you doing, Janice?
I'm great. How are you, Scott?
Good. Christmas right around the corner. How's your shopping going?
Shopping's done. Wrapping's done. Food's ready to be.
You're that people that everybody envies, aren't you?
Yes.
That's awesome. Next, we've also got Harvey Loosier. Sorry, Loosier. I said it wrong again, Harvey. I'm sorry. Harvey's the co-founder of Twilight Cleaning Services. He spends his time making you shine, like literally making you shine. His family-run business is all about high-quality cleaning for industries like healthcare. And when you're in a business like that, a little dirt could be a really big deal. So, good morning, Harvey.
Good morning.
You staying in town or hitting the roads for the holidays?
I will be staying in town for the most part, doing a little Christmas Eve with one set of families and Christmas Day here at home.
Awesome. We've got a couple of guests on the show today. We were having some technical issues. Is Jeff on the show yet?
He is.
There I am.
Hey, Jeff made it.
Yeah, finally. Oh my gosh. It's that's what happens. It's Murphy's Law, right? One of the towns we're talking about is Murphy, ironically. It's great to be here, Scott. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be a guest today.
We appreciate you coming on. Jeff's the mayor of Sachse for the viewers. He's the host of a weather podcast. He's got over a decade on the city council. And he's probably one of the nicest people I know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's, when we first started talking, Scott, we talked about I asked you, which hat do you want me to put on? And I'm going to put on all three today. So I'm business owner, mayor, and weather guy. So.
Yep. All right. Awesome. We've also got Caitlyn with us. And I'm just going to ask, since I messed up Harvey's name, how do you pronounce your last name, Caitlyn?
It is Fuessel. I appreciate you asking me because everyone gets it wrong.
I would have absolutely said it wrong, and so I just figured I'd ask.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here, so thank you.
Caitlyn's the owner of Elite Diamond Cleaning. She started that business just at 18, and that proves age is just a number when it comes to building a business. I love helping young people, and I love watching young entrepreneurs start their businesses. So what got you motivated to start in business at such a young age?
if I'm real honest, I did one typical teenage job, and I realized I was a very strong leader and quite bossy. And so I realized that it would probably be pretty smart for me to try something on my own. And my parents were really encouraging. And so I took that leap, and here we are.
Awesome. Well, I see a lot of good stuff about your business, and so apparently you're doing well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And we also have JP Ortiz with Glick Roofing Systems. Glick does commercial roofing, and they're all about making sure the roof is as strong as your business. It's not traditional residential roofing, it's coatings. So he's got a whole different business than most people think he's in when they first hear about it. So how are you doing today, JP?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I hear you're training for an Ironman.
I am. That is a goal that I have set for this upcoming year. I have a race. I have a half marathon coming up in February, and I'm slowly working my way up.
That just sounds intense to me.
It is. It is a lot.
We'll cheer you on from the side.
Welcome to the show. We're glad to have you all here today. We're going to go to our first break, and then when we come back, we'll start into the What's Up segment.
The Community Difference Wylie is made possible by Scott Johnson with FireBoss Realty, Janice Greenly with Greenroot Capital, and by Harvey Loosier with Twilight Cleaning Services. The Community Difference Wylie. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up, Wylie?
What's Up, Wylie, the part of the show where we're going to talk about just kind of some things that are going on in the area, things that we want people to know about. But I did want to open this segment of the show by thanking all of the viewers in the Wylie, Saxe, and Murphy area for supporting the Community Difference Wylie. The Community Difference has shows in Wylie, Rockwall, Plano, Frisco, and soon we're going to be starting a show in Little Elm. And we do a lunch and learn on the third Monday. And at the lunch and learn this last week, we were acknowledged for having the most viewers show, or the most viewed shows this season, with 245,000 views.
Wow.
So I wanted to thank y'all for supporting the show. Please let me know if there's someone in the community you need to hear from, and we'll do whatever we can to get them on. But we really appreciate all of the support we get here at the Community Difference Wylie. I also wanted to introduce you to Wylie's latest rising superstar, 19-year-old Lola Kinsey. She's fresh out of Wylie East High School. She's already making waves in the music scene with her debut single, Pack It Up. As soon as I heard her sing, I thought she sounded like a young Stevie Nicks. So the best part of that is she's unsigned independent singer-songwriter. So she is a music industry underdog that we can all root for. I remember the first time I saw a young talent take the stage. It was a local performance in Garland. I had no idea that 12-year-old little girl that was singing blue was going to become Leanne Rimes. So now it's Lola's turn, and Wylie, it's time to rally behind the local star. So what I need y'all to do is head over to Spotify, search for Lola Kinsey, and hit the follow button, and then stream Pack It Up. Let's show the power of hometown support and help her take her next big step in her music career. It's time to get her on the map, and with our support, we can make her the next local superstar. So come on, Wylie, let's get out there and support this young artist.
Love that.
Janice, I'm going to toss it to you. What do you got for us?
All right, I got a few things. First thing I have is the Herman Marshall New Year's Eve party. There's still a few tickets left. Sorry, kids, it's 18 and up only. But if you're looking for something to do in the area, you don't want to drive too far or Uber too far, this is a great venue for you to spend your New Year's Eve on. Next, I have Wylie Nutrition's Paint and Sip Friday coming up on January 3rd at 6 o'clock. It's at their location at 501 Brown Street. So just something to do, get out a little bit different, spend some time with some friends in the area. Finally, I have the Wylie Urban Farm Co-op. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this organization, but they've been around for about a year here. Been more in a transient type of situation, but now they have a permanent location at 2315 East Stone Road, and they are highlighting local vendors for fresh food and crafts, and then also locally grown organic food. So they're partnering with the Wylie Farmers Market. So go check them out and let's support this. It's really a great thing that we need and have here in Wylie.
Awesome. How about Harvey? What do you got for us, Harvey?
We are winding down with Christmas here, so I got an event, Cookies with Santa. This is at the Wylie ER. You join them tomorrow, December the 20th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and get a free picture with Santa, and they'll have hot chocolate and cookies. So come on over and get your picture taken with Santa. And then also, if you having a hard time getting those gifts wrapped, you can head on over Monday, December the 23rd, to the Smith Public Library. It's the Friends of the Library that's doing this, but they will wrap your gifts for free. But they are taking donations, and they're really appreciated, and they'll accept cash, credit card donations. They'll have a QR code, all of that set up, and that's from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the library lobby. So if you're looking to get those holiday gifts wrapped and don't have time to do it, let them do it for you.
Awesome. That sounds like a good time and an easy way to get Christmas started.
There's no excuse for all you guys. No bringing presents wrapped in a Walmart bag anymore.
That's probably the most inviting offer I've heard all Christmas. I hate wrapping gifts.
Yeah, me too. My wife, she takes care of all of ours for us.
Mine too.
Spoiled. Just saying.
There's also several. There's 3 that I know of. Open volunteer positions on the boards and commissions in Sachse, and I'll let Mayor Bickerstaff tell us about those if he wants to.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. Yes, we have openings on our boards most of the time, and that's where people move away or they just get other things they have to do. So, but a lot of our volunteers stay for a while, and it's a really good way to get back to this, in this case, Sachse. We have openings. We have about 3 openings currently on our boards. We have about 5 or 6 boards, 7 boards total. And it's a good way to get involved with your community. And, I get it. Not everybody wants to be on council and go through all that. But if you still want to get back to your city, then it's a good way to get started. It's a good way to get experience, kind of know the inner workings of the city, and whether you're on the Parks Board or the Economic Development Corporation Board or Planning and Zoning, it's a great way to get more involved. And we're always looking for volunteers, and even times when we're all full, which we're always glad, we want to be full, you can still submit your application and we'll put it on file. And then that way, when an opening comes up, we'll bring you in for an interview. And we're not tough interviewers, the council, and we'll give you a shot. So, but I always say this as a former council member and then now mayor, we could not do what we do without our boards and commission volunteers. They are the ones that do the initial vetting, and they kind of get through all the rough stuff. And then when it gets to us, we still have things to talk about, obviously, but it makes it much easier to make decisions based on.
Isn't that how you got started on was it the EDC or?
Actually, I got started on the Parks and Recreation Board way back in 2001. And I moved to Sachse in 1999, grew up in Garland, and I wanted to get involved. And after a couple of years in Sachse, I thought, I just applied. I thought, hey, I didn't know what board I was going to get, and I was fortunate enough to be on the Parks Board. And that started my journey, if you will, in serving Sachse. And I was on the Park Board up until 2012, and 13, and then that's when I got on council initially.
That's awesome. What else is happening in Sachse?
What else is happening in Sachse? Well, quite a bit, actually. And so I'll briefly go over these. And I will say, anybody watching live, watching this later, If you have questions about anything, I'm just gonna go over these briefly, obviously. But if you have more questions about that, please give me a call, give staff a call, shoot me an email. So we have our comprehensive plan update going on right now. I wouldn't say we just started it, but we're kind of just getting going with it as far as the community input. That part is actually closed, but we do have this opportunity where we have future public hearings, future public meetings to get involved with SACSI. We try to update our plan, at least update it every 5 years. We do major overhauls, maybe every 10, 15, 20 years. And so we did do a major overhaul in 2017. We were going to do another one around COVID. And of course, you know what that meant. All that got put off. And so we're doing that right now. Most likely will be one of our final updates. SACSI is about build out, but we are in that process. So again, you can find more information about that on our website. Another big topic in SACSI is Merritt Road.
Everybody wants to talk about Merritt Road. What's happening on the Merritt Road?
Yeah, and so this could be the whole hour and a half, and we're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
It's the 5-second version, if you will, is that this project actually started in 2017, and that the key component to this project is that it's funding from other sources other than just the city. And so it's really a federally funded project, say that fast. There's some state money, some COG money. And so when you ask for money and they give it to you in the form of grants, then you got to go by their rules. And as I hate to say, when you get up into the federal government and even state government, there's a lot of red tape. Having said all that, that's what's caused some delays. Again, that COVID word, that stopped everything cold on that project. However, the good news is that we've gotten all the right-of-way now that we need. And you should, cross my fingers, you should start seeing utility relocations in the spring. So we are getting going on that project. It's be about a 2-year project when we get all set.
Yeah, I watched the council meeting the other day when y'all had all the Merritt Road stuff. And people think it's like, hey, why don't you just go build a road? And they don't see the frustration of all the council members that are every bit as frustrated, because you do sit in all the meetings and hear all the stuff and hear all the planning. And then when it doesn't happen because, well, even COVID, but when it doesn't happen because of federal agencies said, oh no, we've got to change the level of a bridge by 2 feet. And it all goes back to the engineering study. People don't see those parts. But
yeah, I would say too, Scott, back in the old days, the old joke was you just had to have a bulldozer and you bulldoze down some trees, lay some gravel down, and you could build a road. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
But but we do have a website that we can go to, movingmerit.com. I think. Let me make sure that's right. I always get it mixed up. Yeah, I think that's right. Movingmerit.com. And go there. A lot of information. Real quickly, just want to touch a few more quick things. Fifth Street, our quote unquote downtown. We're starting the process of getting that developed. We've had a farmer's market down there a couple Saturdays. It's over for the season, but we're going to start that back up. So we're excited about that. We also have, of course, hopefully everybody knows about the station, our development down on 190.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, if you like pizza, Carne Rosso is coming to the station in early January. So if you haven't had that pizza, I highly encourage you to try it out before they come to South.
I went by there yesterday. They got their signs up already.
Yeah, it's I went to the one in Frisco, and I tell you, man, I know pizza can be pizza, and you can have we can all be cynical about how good pizza is, but it's really, really good. So I'm excited about that. And last but certainly not least, Woodbridge Parkway. We've talked a lot about that. Not quite to the same extent as Merritt, but Woodbridge Parkway is over 20 years old now, and so it is in need of repair. We do have a plan for that. Again, that's going to take a lot of money, but we are in the process of working on that. And so that's, as you can imagine, Scott, most of the comments we get on council are about roads.
Yeah.
And so that's always a priority for the city, although we do have other priorities, of course, that we have to manage. And so it's there's a lot of great things going on. And the last thing I'll say is that we have had the past year or so, we've had 2 parks open up. J.K. Saxey Park on the north side of town, Brandy Park, biggest park on the north side of town, splash pad, outdoor pickleball courts. So if you're a pickleball guy, don't want to play indoors, you want to play outdoors, you can go out there. And then Heritage Park. Heritage Park's been around a long time, but we redid that. We extended that, if you will, expanded that. Amphitheater, part of the station development, that is now open. Beautiful project, I have to say. And so if you haven't been down there yet, I encourage you to go down there. It will fit very well into the station's overall master development. So a lot going on in Saxon.
Yeah. Have y'all been to the new Heritage Park? Anybody been to the Heritage Park?
Oh my gosh, we got to change those no's to yeses.
Yeah, that
It's
is a
really,
beautiful park. They did a
yeah,
great job. It's got the train theme. It's got the water tower for Saxy theme on it. I mean, they did a really good job.
we tried to incorporate some of the history and actually there, and so I was, we should have some decent weather. Put my weather hat back on the next few days. So if you haven't been down there, I would encourage you to go take a look. It's very kid friendly, as you can imagine, but thanks for adults to do too. Walking trails, amphitheater. It's a really good addition. I appreciate you saying that, Scott. There's a lot of hard work that went into that, and quite frankly, that all that takes money. And we were fortunate that our voters allowed us to do that. And,
I also live in Woodbridge, and so the park that was built right across from my street, there is a concert series there this summer that was very good. We could leave the house, and it took us 2 minutes to walk over, and I mean the park was just packed with people. I mean they were just packed.
Yeah, our summer concert series. Thank you for saying that. We're going to bring that back. At least that's a thought I should say. I got to be careful what I promise. I get in trouble for that. But it's like I said, it was very well received. And again, we just try to program. Our parks department does an awesome job in programming, and that goes from our community center to programs that are there indoors and all of our park outdoor programs. Red, White, Blue Blast. Halloween. We try to offer up something for everybody.
Well, and you mentioned the pickleball courts because those are a big deal, but there's 2 sandlot volleyball courts over there too.
Yeah, that's right. There is. Yes,
they are packed all the time. I drive by that on a daily basis, and I don't know if the lights are automatic or if there's a switch over there somewhere, but if there's lights on, there's people playing on those. I mean, it was rainy and everything yesterday, and when we were leaving in the evening, there were people out there on those volleyball courts.
Yeah, and I appreciate you mentioning that. The volleyball is very popular, and we thought pickleball. It's funny because when we got the demand for outdoor pickleball, we did that, and we thought, okay, well, everybody's just going to go play pickleball. But no, you're right. Volleyball is still very popular, and of course, when it gets a little bit warmer weather, the splash pad will come back online, and yeah. So JK Saxy Park has been a great addition, and more to come. We got another phase coming, so more to come.
Awesome. Do y'all play pickleball?
I do not. I've been asked to play, but I have not played yet. No.
Do you play, Caitlyn?
I have played a couple of times, and it's actually a lot of fun. I am not the most athletic person in the world, and it's definitely the perfect size to play and still be able to do that for people who are not overly athletic.
Yeah, pickleball is one of those things that kind of took on in the fire service, and every fire station I know of has a pickleball court taped out inside their apparatus room. So they pull the fire engines out, and they're in there playing pickleball sometimes in the afternoon when they get all their work done.
Oh my! Wow. Okay.
So pickleball is taking on a new life. It's a pretty popular sport that I didn't know about until all these young guys started bringing it in. So that was pretty fun. Anybody else got a what's up for Wylie? Anymore?
I have a couple things that I could throw in real quick. Chamber office closes on Friday, tomorrow, until the 2nd of January. So keep that in mind. And then the Wylie's Farmers Market is taking applications for vendors for next year. So if you know anybody, send them their way.
Is that the one that Brandon does? Brandon Eicher?
He did, but he's the one that has the Farmers Co-op now, that permanent location I mentioned a little bit earlier.
Okay, yeah.
So he's partnering with them so that there is an all the time farmers market at his location, so to speak. This will be a little bit different, I think, until it's big enough to host year round.
Okay, cool. Well, that's kind of what's going on around the Wylie, Saxy, Murphy kind of area. We're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get into our monthly topic about transforming the sales cycle. So we'll see you in just a minute.
All right.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible. At FireBoss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, FireBoss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit FireBossRealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Come on down to Southern Junction Nightclub and Steakhouse in Roy City, where great food, live music, and unforgettable fun come together. Southern Junction is just 30 boot-scooting miles northeast of Dallas, off Interstate 30. Start your night by grilling your own perfectly seasoned steak, or let our chef handle it for you. Then hit the dance floor and enjoy live country music every Wednesday through Saturday. Challenge your friends at the pool table or just relax and soak in the atmosphere. At Southern Junction, there's always room for great times, great music, and great memories. Visit southernjunctionlive.com for details. And we'll see you this weekend at Southern Junction Nightclub and Steakhouse, just a short drive from Dallas, where Texas comes to play.
Now back to the show.
All right, so now it's time for our monthly topic, which is transforming the sales cycle, leveraging social platforms to establish the know, like, and trust component of building rapport. So it's fascinating to me that lawyers spend all that time and all that money going to law school, and in that entire time, nobody teaches them how to get a law client. And doctors go to medical school and they teach them how to do amazing things with the human body, but nobody teaches them how to get a body to work on. And, you know, regardless of the industry that you're on or in, everybody has a sales cycle. And most people don't even realize that there's a multi-part sales cycle that they're going through. So since we're talking about transforming the sales cycle, I thought we would start by even just defining what it is. It always starts with prospecting. That's the part that they don't teach. Even in business school, they don't teach you how to get a business client. They teach you how to do business, but you don't have anybody to do business with until you get a client. So it always starts with prospecting. I think about it like a miner going out into the mountains looking for gold or something, which I guess now that I've said that out loud, that's exactly what it is going out and looking for gold. Next, you're going to build rapport with those people, which is the part we're going to talk about today. There's a needs assessment for what are their needs or challenges that you're going to meet. There's a presentation on how your service or your product meets those needs. You handle the objections, close the sale, and then there's a follow-up process. But what we're talking about today is the second step, the building rapport part, and how we can leverage social media to establish the know, like, and trust factors associated with building rapport. And social media is such a powerful tool for building rapport because it establishes who you are and people get to know you really well before they even meet you. So if you've got a good social media presence, you can create familiarity and build positive relationships. You earn the trust that's essential for business success before you ever meet folks. So I'm just going to open it up to the group with a question. How do you build familiarity through local social media groups?
I think it depends on what social media platform you're using. Honestly, I would say, whether you're using LinkedIn, because maybe you need to know who your client base is first. Is it business to business or is it business to consumer? And if so, You need to find the right platform that fits your audience before you do anything.
That's good, because they are different. I mean, if you're on LinkedIn or if you're on Instagram, that's a wholly different conversation.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, this is one of the conversations I really enjoy, because when I started 2 years ago with being a commercial cleaning company, my thought was, how do I get in front of the clients that I'm trying to attract? And so I'm not a LinkedIn guy. And so I'm thinking, okay, not in an industry where Facebook, this is my mindset at the beginning now. I'm not in the industry where Facebook would really work for me, until I really got to thinking about it and realized all I have to do is get in front of the business owner that I'm trying to attract. And how do I do that? So then I go like their page, and then I start sharing their information. I start promoting them. And then that way they get to know who I am. And then now all of a sudden they're like, who's this guy? I mean, who's this person sharing my stuff? And then they're starting to like my page, and then we start having a relationship from there. So this topic right here is like one of my favorite things, because it took me a while to figure this out. Once I figured it out, it's really been tremendous for me as far as doing it in that regards.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's know your audience, right? And that is what platform you pick. And as a business owner myself, it depends on what message you're trying to get out. LinkedIn was mentioned, and that is definitely a business type platform, if you will. There's some things you would post there. Maybe, I hate to say more technical, but you definitely have a different audience you're trying to attract. Whereas if you're doing I know it sounds crazy, but if you're doing an insurance video on TikTok, you're going to have a different message, because you're going to have a different audience. And so I think first and foremost, you have to get yourself out there as a business owner on social media. And, we can go through all the details about what to do next, but if you got to start somewhere. And, as I'm a business owner myself and talking to other business owners, some are very involved in social media, some don't want to be involved at all, which always blows my mind. But I think what it comes down to from a very basic standpoint is that, you're talking about prospecting, and if someone can't relate to you, you're probably going to have a hard time doing business with them. And nowadays, if you're just trying to get your name out there and nobody's ever met you, how are they going to get to know you? Well, that's through a website and through social media posts, whether that's a static post or a short video or something like that. They before they call you or email you or text you, they got to have some level of comfort that you can do something for them. And social media is a great way to do that. And it's come a long way in its beginnings, and I'm sure with AI it'll continue to change. But
AI is a whole different topic, isn't it?
Yeah. I know we're not talking about that today, but it's something that you got to be relatable to your customers, and I think social media is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge
I think
aspect.
Go ahead, Caitlyn.
Sorry, and then I'll let you go next. But I think that's a huge aspect of the sales cycle has really changed, because I loved when Scott was walking through it, the different pieces of when you throw social media in there. I look at where I am in the sales cycle with my customers, and when they go to build rapport, it's amazing, because they can really click on my whether they're on Facebook or they're on Instagram, because I am business to customer, so I'm looking to clean for residential homes, families, and they can look at my social media, whether that's a video or a post or a review that's shared, and that builds the trust factor. Whereas before social media, maybe they get a like your phone number, and they have to call you, and they want to hear your voice, or they want to hear about your business, how you can serve them. But a video or someone tagging you, that's how Harvey and I started to build our relationship, is him being in the commercial world and me in the residential. We service two very different customers, but people from the outside don't always see it that way. They give you a call and they're like, well, you clean, you should be able to clean anything, which is true, but not always to the best of our ability. So Harvey does really well, and has him and his wife have really helped build a relationship with me, so that when we tag each other or we were send business or we get a customer, we have built that relationship and that know, like, and trust. And his sphere of influence and who the people that he knows when he tags me also has that know, like, and trust. So people themselves, when they network or they get to know people, and then him and his name and his reputation, his good reputation, overflows to me when he tags my name, and that builds the know, like, and trust with even a stranger just on Facebook. And he has sent me quite a bit of business that way, because him and his wife have done an amazing job with their business. And now that reputation flows over to me and is building and helping to build mine, even with strangers online. So I think that's an amazing aspect of how the sales cycle has really changed with social media.
Yeah, I've seen your social media pages where, I mean, if you're talking about the definition of a brand ambassador, if you look up brand ambassador in the dictionary, I think you're going to see the two of you pictured there side by side, because y'all do an amazing job at that.
Well, I would definitely say Harvey's name should be there, and I am learning a whole bunch from him. And I honestly can't say I've met someone in the same industry who has the integrity and the I don't know the other word, but the care enough to share business the way that he does. And it's truly incredible, and it has removed a lot of the intimidating factors of talking and building relationship with someone in your same industry. So I appreciate Harvey a whole bunch for what he has taught me. So,
Well, she doesn't know this. She's taught me something too. I just won't say what it is.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
JP, did you have something to say?
Yes, thank you, Caitlyn. I really appreciate your words. And Scott's right. Both of you are brand ambassadors for sure. I see posts, I see comments, and the activity you have. And I think I've taken a little bit of a page from what both of you are doing, and that's what we're trying to grow right now. We're doing small little videos, kind of explaining what we do and how we do it, because I'm a little bit of a different thing. I'm not necessarily replacing a roof. We're restoring it. So what does that mean? And we're going to on roofs with our team, videoing them as they talk through the process, as they make little jokes, and just through the daily grind of the job. But that establishes a couple things. One, that knowledge base, right? We're industry experts. We are subject matter experts. We're doing something different, and we know why. And two, you kind of get to like us with the authentic content and personal stories that we share. You bring this trust factor finally back into it, that you're like, hey, I like those guys. They're onto something. What? Let me learn a little bit more. And we really use social media in that aspect to kind of promote ourselves, establish a market, and really communicate that with folks out there.
Yeah, and we've talked about what you do before, and I kind of had it in my head, but I've watched several of those videos up on the roofs. Those guys are hilarious. It's behind the scenes, and they're spraying and they're doing their thing, but in the process, man, they're just some guys that are working and cutting up with each other and having a good time, and it's just fun to watch. But you realize, hey, these are just guys doing their job, but they're explaining the process along the way, and I think it's very effective.
Education, I agree, is a huge way to create that know, like, and trust factor, because you do set yourself apart as an industry expert. And so when your customer, whoever that might be, comes to you for something, they know what to expect as to what they're going to get. And so it's not this, I wonder how it works, or I wonder how they're going to do it. I use LinkedIn a lot. And so that's the big thing that I do on LinkedIn, is educating. So I'm in investing. So I do passive, and I work with passive investors. A lot of people don't even know, how does that work? I didn't know I could do that. So my deal is really educating folks like you guys on what's even available, how to diversify. What does that look like? And people really they want to learn, they want to know, they want to understand. And I would say that social media itself has become a great place to get some really good education, some good, some bad, but some really good education in a way that we didn't have before. You had to, nothing wrong with the library, but you had to traipse yourself down to the library, or find somebody to go interview or whatever. And that's not the case anymore. And so if you can really embrace that approach, I think that can help us all exponentially.
Yeah. Our producer is Lyndon Wilson. I call him the Wizard of Oz because he's the guy behind the scenes pushing all the buttons. And he's got a question for everybody on the show.
Thank you, Scott. Question that I have listening to JP and Janice in what y'all are saying. Do we ever consider when we're creating our online strategy of where the potential prospect is in the sales cycle themselves? It's almost like a lot of times, and this is what we used to do back in the day before internet, and when you had to build rapport and knock on doors, call people, build rapport, you controlled the sales cycle. Today we don't control as much of it because people are able to go online. If they're shopping for a car, they know all the bells and whistles that car has. The salesman doesn't need to tell them anymore. They have vetted everything out that they need. They know what they want. They know what pricing is, right? So there's not a lot, there's more transparency now in the sales cycle process. So have you thought about, or do you have a strategy that in your content that you share on social media to draw and attract people to build the know, like, and trust, are you addressing different potential areas that consumer, that person watching you is in their own sales cycle?
I do personally. I think about, and I think it goes into that education piece. I assume that there are customers or partners or, whatever, I don't know what you want to call it. For me, I'm a little different, but I assume there are people with zero information, zero knowledge. I assume there are people that know they want to diversify, but have no idea what it is and how to go about it. And then I assume there are people that absolutely know, and they're looking for the right place and the right people to partner with. And so the stuff I put online is geared toward each of those three groups of individuals, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, insurance is no different.
I like that, Janice.
We have people that just they know everything, and they want to just go to another carrier, if you will. And then you do have a lot of clients that have had the same policy forever and never ever changed it. And then part of our mission, if you will, at our insurance agency is that we want to educate our clients. We talked about that a little bit, but I always felt like that our clients can't make an informed decision without being educated. And that's part of our job. And the question was about how do you do that with social media? And there's the 30-second way to where you kind of cover all the bases. I have a ad out there right now that kind of does that. And then there's other targeted 30-second ads for just specific things. So we try to do a little bit of both. We try to do a general type education, but then we also try to focus on specific industries and insurance that people may be looking at. And so we try to tackle it both ways.
Yeah, I like both your comments. This is very, I'm going to start taking some notes. You're absolutely right. One thing that we are really trying to focus on is when we're making a small video that's a little bit more educational, explaining or a how-to process, try to focus on our hashtags and keywords that are in those videos for somebody who's looking specifically for that type of information. That way, when they're searching online, it may pop up organically, or they're searching through Instagram or Facebook. It's a video that will come up, that will be more likely to come up. But when we're doing maybe a video that's a little bit more humanizing the fellas on the roof, and we're joking around, or you can see them cutting up, maybe something else that shows a little bit more of the authentic or the funny side of it. That way, the people that are actively looking for something, they're getting a video that's more appropriate for their search result. And overall, the idea is then they click on it, they think it's funny, and what's the next video? And what is this process? How are they doing that? What do you mean this is coding? And then we have them, and then we can build that knowledge base and build that customer up. depending on what part of their sales cycle they're in.
I went down that rabbit hole on your processes and watching your videos. I am that guy you're talking about.
It's working.
We have
it's
a great
working.
team. It's pretty effective.
So the system does work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our next segment is going to be a deep dive. We're going to go in to get to know these guests a little bit more. We're going to go to a commercial break first, and then we're going to get to know who they are when we come back.
Thanks, Scott.
At the Community Difference Business Development Alliance, powered by the Difference Media LLC, our mission is to empower small business owners by transcending acceptable behaviors and outcomes into exceptional realms. We foster a culture of self-awareness, accountability, and proactive engagement, guiding individuals to recognize and overcome indifference towards transformative actions, habits, behaviors, and processes driving meaningful change. Through strategic networking, impactful content creation, and innovative top-of-mind strategies, we cultivate brand relevance and differentiation, enabling our partners and the Difference community to stand out in crowded markets. With a focus on building authentic connections, amplifying brand presence, and driving sustainable growth, we equip entrepreneurs with the tools and mindset to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship with confidence, innovation, and resilience. Together, we aim to be the catalyst for difference makers, propelling them towards their highest potential and leaving a lasting impact on their businesses and communities. That's where our community podcasts come in. These podcasts lie directly at the intersection of innovative business development and community involvement, helping to bridge the gap between small business obscurity often seen in our communities. The community-based podcasts called the Community Difference Series are an integral part of integrating all facets of modern business development into a package of great content, positive impact branding, and top-of-mind presence, thus fulfilling the greater mission we set forth. When we set out to be difference makers, we can learn to make a difference and find the success and impact innately desired by all business owners and entrepreneurs. We are difference makers.
And now, back to the show.
All right. I love this part of the show because this is the deep dive where we get to know our guests a little bit better. The community get to know our guests a little bit better. So I think I'm going to go with ladies first and start with Caitlyn. You started at a very young age. We talked about that a little bit at the start of the show. What was it about getting into business that surprised you? And what is it that you love about doing the business that you're in?
That's a really great question. I feel like some things still surprise you even now. I'm 6 years into business, and like I said, started at 18. So when I first got started, there was a lot of surprising things because I really didn't realize what I was doing. I knew I was going out to clean on my own. And then as things started to progress, I started to get more customers that I could physically clean myself. A full schedule that I've figured out is about 10 houses a week. So that's 2 a day. And that's really taxing on your body. So, and even at 18, so I was at a full schedule, and then I realized, okay, well, maybe I should get someone to help me. And I didn't even realize at that point that I would be hiring an employee. And obviously I realized that, did all the proper paperwork and everything. But I was hiring people that were my parents' age. So that was something that I had to learn, and it was a really crazy thing. And then fast forward, you end your first year and you're like, oh my goodness, taxes. And so there are all these things that as a business owner, you have no idea what you're doing, let alone at 18. But fast forward now, I just turned 24 last week. And like I said, 6 years in business, and there's still things that surprise you about the hiring process or the sales funnel, like we were talking about, or even just about how to serve a customer really to get down to their niche thing and what they're looking for, because every household has something different. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people just have this expectation that Well, if you can clean my house, and that's not always true. I may not always be the best fit for a customer because they want something specific and they need something to get to that need. So I have a process that gets down to that pain point and exactly what it looks like to serve a customer. And sometimes you're surprised. You think, oh, I'm a great fit for this customer. We're going to be great. And then you get a couple cleanings in and something just isn't right, and we come to the conclusion together that, you know what, hey, we may not be the best fit for each other. Maybe they need a solo cleaner who can fold their laundry and, organize their kids' rooms, because that's something that we don't do. Or they need someone to, they want someone to clean, do their laundry, cook, and take care of their dogs. Well, that's not a service that we provide as a company. And so getting to that conclusion is a lot of fun and still surprising to this day. There's a lot of things that you learn along the way.
And you now own multiple businesses.
Yes. So my
husband. How was the learning process once you got the first rep out of the way?
The first rep is definitely the hardest. When my husband and I got married, we decided he was working with me in my business cleaning. So yes, gentlemen, you can clean too, and y'all do a great job. As Harvey is another great example. But we decided that we needed just some extra income. Like Janice says, you don't want your income all in one place. You have to diversify that. So we started a lawn care business, and that was very similar, being in the service industry. So I told him, I said, I can get the customers, I can do the background work. I just physically, you're not going to catch me out there pushing a lawnmower. I'm like, I just not going to do it. And so I said, let's do this. And the second rep is definitely a little bit easier. You've got some foundation out of the way. You know what's a better choice than having to try out 3, 4, 5 things. And so we have that lawn maintenance company, and that's a lot of fun. He does that, and he enjoys it. So
let me go to Jeff, because you do weather, you do insurance, you run a city, you got a lot of things going on. How does all that play together? Because that's a lot to do.
It is. And first of all, Caitlyn, how's the taxes on 2 businesses? Not as a business owner, I feel your pain, I promise. Well, Scott, it all fits together. I think in a common theme for me is that's service and helping others. And that is how they all 3 tie together. Because if you take them individually, I help a lot of people do certain things, and you take them all together, it's the same concept. Some of them mess together, some don't. As you can imagine, insurance and weather kind of go together a lot of times in a bad way. Everybody remembers the 2016 Great Wylie hailstorm, as I call it. And, that's definitely something where my weather passion and insurance intersected. Being mayor, again, it's about service. It's a different kind of service. It's about serving others, kind of trying to meet your residents' needs, which, as anybody knows, if you live in East, you can live in a town of 500, you're going to have a lot of different needs. And so you got to juggle that. And let me gently correct you. I do not run the city. That would be Miss Nash, but we do make a lot of policy decisions on
Gina
that.
Nash is our city manager, and she's
so she's awesome to work with. And, but our council sets policy, and they go implement the policy. And so obviously being mayor and the council have a very, very important role in that. But it all starts somewhere, right? And I remember on the weather side, back when Facebook was in its infancy, I've been a weather enthusiast since I was in the 7th grade and got my storm spotter certification. That's the reason I went to Texas A&M. Didn't get the meteorology degree, but that's what I started out doing. But I got my storm spotting certification. And but when Facebook was kind of in its infancy, I just did a quick little post. Hey, this thunderstorm's coming here. Just be careful. And I got like 50 comments. I was like, oh, I live here. What's good? And that's kind of how my live stream started with the weather. And again, it's about helping others. And insurance, same thing. Insurance is a very misunderstood profession. And it's something that, again, a lot of people don't understand, but it's very, very important for your financial well-being. I know Janice can talk to that as well. It's because if you have a bad day and you don't have the right insurance, it can turn into a terrible day. And so I love educating people like that. And again, on the mayor's side, it's just something that I love giving back to my community, because there's no better feeling than being a part of that and then seeing the fruits of your labor. It's not just my labor, it's the council's labor, but it's something that, like I talked about earlier, if it's Heritage Park, if it's JK Saxe, it's ultimately going to be our Merritt Road, our Saxe Road that's already built. When you see those things done, there's a great level of satisfaction that, you were a little part of that. And that's what I enjoy about all three of those.
Awesome. JP, how'd you get into yours, and where do you think you're going to take it for the future?
Well, yes, I was in construction for about almost 15 years here locally in Wylie. And I actually had moved to Wylie 2 weeks before that great hailstorm of 2016. And so I got to witness that weather, yes, firsthand.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah. But I was primarily in painting, and I had some background in garage floor epoxy and sports flooring, like basketball courts, through college. And this opportunity came up with Glick Roofing. And when I sat down and started speaking to the folks in our home offices in Nashville, they explained their restoration process is a 3-coat coating process with urethanes and silicones, and that is right up my alley and area of expertise. I've been dealing with acrylics and urethanes and silicones at caulk for a better part of a decade and plus. And so it seemed like a great fit. I researched the material that we were looking at, and I knew through my experience that this is something that could really benefit folks and save them a lot of money. Because if you have a metal roof with a leak, if it's rusted out, the option is to replace it. And that becomes extremely expensive, where I can come in for half the cost or even better and restore it and still give another 20 years of life to that building. And so I saw a need there to help business owners save a little bit of money, restore the roof, and partner up with them in their success. And I felt like it was a no-brainer. And they were opening up an office in Wylie to market to handle Texas. And they tapped me to see if I was willing to run Texas for them. And I literally run all through the state of Texas, part of my training. So I figured, yeah, I can run Texas. This is right up my alley.
So how'd you get into the Iron Man stuff? Because I find that fascinating.
So I have this desire, this need to move constantly. I've always been very active. I played all the sports growing up. I played hockey. I was a goalie in hockey. I played soccer, baseball, basketball, volleyball, track, swimming. I've kind of done it all. And in my process of just staying in shape, I would go on jogs. And as I was getting a little bit older and started getting some wear and tear on my knees and ankles, I decided, you know what, let me jump on a bike to kind of take some of the stress off. And after, riding 20, 30 miles on a bike on a day, I realized, if I could just start swimming, I can do this. And so I went to the Garland Natatorium, and I got in the pool there, and I swam in high school. And I was like, you know what, this will be fun. Let's get a challenge and something that not a lot of folks say they can do, and put this together. And so I started doing triathlons about 2-3 years ago.
Well, that's all. I've done 5Ks and 10Ks, but I went to the doctor recently. I got 2 new hips, and they said, if you want those to last the rest of your life, quit running. So I will not do the running thing anymore, but I do still go to the gym. I'll been known to get on my treadmill, but they said walk on that. So I may have to pick up a bike or something like that.
Yeah, JP, I wouldn't describe JP, I wouldn't describe Ironman as fun, but I admire you for doing that. That is awesome.
Me too.
I'll be the cheerleader. Here I am.
So when do you have one scheduled? Do you have a race scheduled?
I don't have one scheduled. They're looking to have one in Waco in October. and that's the one I'm eyeing on. It's right. You're running through Baylor, and the course is set right there in Waco, and I think that's the one I'm shooting for.
Well, Baylor's got a beautiful campus, so I guess if you're going to run somewhere, that'd be a good place to do it. But all right, well, we're gonna go to a commercial, and then when we get back, we're going to do our "What's the Difference" segment, where I'm going to give you a couple of different "What's the difference," and we'll just let everybody answer those. So we'll be right back.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
And now, back to the show.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
So what's the difference? I'm going to ask a question, and we're just going to do the whole roundtable thing and let everybody answer. And then I've got an official answer that's on my desktop here, but we'll talk about that. Generally, it's been my experience that y'all give that answer anyway. So we'll just start with, what's the difference between spotlighting local businesses to build goodwill and using those spotlights for self-promotion?
Your intention.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you make it about you and not who you're trying to promote, then I think you're doing it the wrong way. I mean, that's, if you're going to have a partnership, you should be focusing on them, not you.
100%.
JP?
Yeah. I'd like to say, there's this quote that I have in my office that says, happiness begins when selfishness ends. And I try to go by that approach at all time. It's not about me. It's about serving others and helping others. And if I approach it that way, I think you become successful.
I think a guy said that his birthday's coming up on the 25th, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Harvey, what do you think?
Well, I think serving others, just like JP was talking about, that's kind of my heart anyway. Just listening to Caitlyn earlier and talking about the collaboration that we've had on Facebook, it's easy for us to gravitate towards someone like Caitlyn, especially with her age, and just want to be able to help her grow. A lot of people in our industry or in any industry are scared to reach out to the same people in that industry. And I highly recommend that, because I've learned a lot. I was giving a hard time earlier, but we've learned just as much from her as she's learned from us. So I think through that process, just you get what you put in, on the back end, without even knowing that you're going to get that, if that makes sense at all.
And if I could piggyback on Harvey real quick, he brought up an excellent point about reaching out to people in your own industry, because whether it's Caitlyn or Harvey or JP or Janice or anybody, is that you're going to come across a customer that you want to help and they want to work with you, but you just don't have that ability. But you know someone who does. If you know someone who does, if you hadn't made those contacts before, you're going to be stuck. But it works in reverse too, because you a lot of times you'll get a call from them and they'll say, hey, you know what, I'm too busy or I don't do that anymore, but I know I told them that you did. And, you know, and so, yeah, that is such an underrated part of being a business owner is, you know, some people are just, I can't talk to the competition. They'll steal my business, you know, and that is an excellent point. And I've always tried to do that in my industry as well.
Caitlyn?
I love what Janice said. Your intention is a big thing. And then Harvey said the word too, your heart. I think it just boils down to your focus. Your fear shows through there. So like Jeff just said, being afraid to talk to people in your industry, things like that. All those little things in your character always come out when you're spotlighting yourself over others.
Yeah, I think a really good example of this, we were at the Wylie Business Connect, and there's a young lady who just bought the Wylie flower shop, and Harvey was talking to her, and she was saying that they were having an open house during the Christmas Arts Festival downtown, and that it was going to be Pam's last open house. And if you've been around Wylie very long, you know Pam at the Wylie flower shop, and she really wanted people to come and say bye to Pam and give her a hug and all of that stuff. And we said, well, how about we get that out for you? And then she said, well, can you come to the flower shop? And we just went to the flower shop and shot a quick video and let her invite everybody to come down there. That's the first a lot of people knew that Pam was leaving. And then Pam showed up at the Business Connect, and she came over. I got a big hug from her. She said, thanks for doing that. So many people came because they said, we didn't know that you were leaving and until we saw that video. So there was no self-promotion in that at all. That was all about who doesn't love Pam down there. I mean, and that's what Destiny was. Destiny's the new owner. And that's what she was wanting. She was wanting people to come in and hug Pam. It wasn't even about her saying, hey, I'm the new owner. It was about, she wanted Pam loved well before she left. And that was going to be a good opportunity to do it. So that's another one of those things Harvey kind of prompted, and we followed through on it. So that was, I thought that was a great example of that. You know, let's just give back. Just give back. So I got another question for you. Oh, I'm supposed to read the answer. Spotlighting others authentically focuses on their strengths, contributions, and impact to the community. It shows generosity and community mindedness. Conversely, spotlights that emphasize your involvement, accomplishments, and benefits can appear self-serving and undermining trust. So it's what y'all said. It's not about me. It's about them and promoting their stuff and not being self-serving in the process.
I think we got all of them, Scott.
So I think you got them all.
Check.
So here's another question for you. What's the difference between creating a social media presence and creating a social media community? And I'll let anybody start, but then we're going to go around.
I think that a social media presence is really about yourself. When you start to build a community, even on social media, that is tagging people to like share their businesses too. That to me is community. That has been the biggest impact. I love face-to-face and I want to grab meals with everyone, but it also builds a strong community to service our customers and other people just by tagging people on Facebook or sending referrals or commenting on people's for their birthday or a grandbaby's born or things like that. That is community, and that is a big pro to social media. And there are pros and cons to it, but you can really focus on that and have a strong community even on social media.
Yeah.
I think of it as kind of that. I mean, we have our physical or people that we're in front of all the time face to face, but it's that online support group that we all need, to have our back for whatever, good, bad, or otherwise. If somebody puts out something, hey, I need some prayer, I need some this, you've got that support group. So sometimes it's business, sometimes it's personal, and honestly, they mix. There's no fine line between any of them, because it is a community, and so they don't. At that point, it doesn't matter what the need is. They come together to lift you up for whatever.
Yeah, it's really easy to have a presence on social media. I think that's probably one of the bad things about social media is that your presence can be really, really bad. It depends on how you're contributing to it.
Yep.
And it's not just about self-promotion. It's, just ugly comments and, things like that. And so the presence part is easy for anybody. Anybody can have a presence on social media. All you got to do is have a username and you go at it. But, creating a community, and Caitlyn touched on this, is that, how interactive is it? Are you actually having a conversation? Are you saying, I didn't think about that? Even if you have a strong opinion or something like that. But like she said, you're tagging other business owners. Say, hey, if you need this, you can go here. But it's just because when you actually interact in that social media community, if you will, you're going to learn something. And it's hopefully most of the time it's positive. You're going to learn negative stuff too, but that's still learning. But it's something that, it's real easy to, and again, as a business owner, somebody's checking you out, and they don't think they won't go look at your personal page.
That's right.
And if you're a great guy on your business pages, but you're a jerk on your personal pages, guess what?
Yeah.
They will not be going. So you can have a presence, but make sure you have a community. You're part of the community as well.
Yep. JP?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback a little bit of what Mr. Mayor had mentioned. He's absolutely right. Having a presence is pretty easy, positive or negative. It's super easy. You open up an account, get a couple friends, and just start saying whatever you want to say. But having a community is a different story. Having people tag you or message you, hey, I know you're in construction. Can you help me, point me in the right direction? I get messages from folks asking for plumbers or different trades that I'm not in, but I've set up a community now where they know, hey, I know you don't do this, but I know you know people who can. And that is the difference. And I think a lot of us on this, I know Caitlyn personally does a great job at this. And she is willing to say, hey, talk to so-and-so. Here, I tag them on this post. I tag them on this. They can take care of you, or at least point you in the right direction. And that, it shows what a community is and how she has developed a community. And that is important. I think it's important I think in Wylie, we do a really good job having a small town where we want to work and help each other out. And when we can blend business and pleasure together, and you're really authentic, it really shows, and people trust you, people like you, and they listen, they follow.
Yep. Did we get it all, Harvey?
I think so. With community like that, and what they're all saying, I mean, it's pretty much exactly my perspective on it is being able to have people, those collaborators, if you will, when they come and ask me, hey, do you know this person? You know that person? They know that I have that community behind me that I can refer for sure.
And y'all got the exact answer that I've got written on this piece of paper. So.
Yeah.
That's all great. Well, it's time to shut this show down. So we're gonna end the show. Any last thoughts? We've got about 45 seconds.
Thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Merry Christmas to everybody. Scott, thank you so much. This was awesome. You did say it go by fast, and it did.
Yeah.
It goes by amazingly fast.
Yep.
I appreciate y'all being out here. Merry Christmas to Wylie. And we will have a Christmas show. We're going to tape it. We're not doing it live, but it'll be aired on Christmas. And thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Wylie is made possible by Scott Johnson with FireBoss Realty, Janice Greenly with Greenroot Capital, And by Harvey Loosier with Twilight Cleaning Services. The community difference Wylie. Together, we can make the difference.